The promise of technology is that it will make our lives easier and streamline our processes. New technology is being developed at such a pace it is impossible to keep up with it all yourself. The good news is there are trends shaping up in the AEC world that will make our jobs easier if we let them. Bluebeam is part of that process with the simple promise of allowing professionals to get more done. Welcome to Bridging the Gap with Applied Software. I'm your host, Todd Weyandt, and this is the show where we break it all down for you with experts from the AEC and the manufacturing industry. Please feel free to interact with us by liking or commenting on this video. We would love to hear from you. Today we are joined by Hailey, a leading AEC solutions specialist and trainer at Applied Software. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you.
Can you give us kind of a high-level overview of your background in the industry and specifically with Bluebeam?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is in civil engineering. I'm a licensed engineer in Colorado. I did design for about 10 years, and then I switched over, and now I help people get up and running on different pieces of software. For Bluebeam, I've been an instructor now for a few years. I've been teaching, helping people implement it. I've also been a presenter at the Bluebeam Extreme Conference for the last 2 years.
Awesome. So what are some kind of high-level trends that you've seen going on with Bluebeam in the last year or so?
So I've seen a lot of firms implementing it, and contractors use it all the time to help make sure that they're always working on the same set of documents throughout the project. It really helps people get together, and it gives them that one source of truth for the project, and that way everybody's working on the latest and greatest documents. The collaboration capabilities as well that allow people to mark up the same set of documents is huge for many people that are doing reviews. I see a lot of reviewing agencies using sessions just for that purpose alone.
Okay, very nice. So on the surface, how is Bluebeam more than just a PDF editor?
The markup capabilities in Bluebeam alone are worth its weight in gold. Being able to very quickly put markups in there, review your documents. People like to be able to standardize things. When I look at a set of documents, I can see, hey, this comment came from the architect, this comment came from the engineer, without really having to delve in and break up the markups and really see what they are. It's just quick at a glance. There's PDF editing capabilities as well. There's ways to create hyperlinks very quickly. It was really built from the ground up for the AEC industry.
So as more and more firms are beginning to adopt BIM, building information modeling, and the process, they need to collaborate more and more. How does Bluebeam help to enhance idea sharing and innovation?
The idea sharing really comes from the Bluebeam Studio. So within Studio, there's the ability to share documents inside and outside of your organization. Bluebeam Studio also has sessions that allow people to collaborate together and share their ideas directly on the same PDF. So as I'm working on my PDF, you're working on the exact same PDF. You put markups in your PDF, I see them on mine. They just pop up immediately. So it really helps with that sharing of ideas because it's almost instantaneously.
The AEC industry is realizing the value of using big data now, and it's already really being garnered on projects. The information has always been available to be collected, but it's never really been able to fully be leveraged. How can Bluebeam help to standardize and then properly leverage the big data?
The big data is there in the model. And now with the Bluebeam Review, we can actually create a 3D PDF. So out there in the field with your tablet, you can actually get in there, orbit around within the PDF, the model, and get data out of that model just simply from the PDF directly.
Very cool. So let's say a firm implements Bluebeam. How does all the right information get delivered to the right person in the field?
Well, that gets back to the whole Bluebeam Studio. So with Studio projects, we have the one source of truth. Contractor comes in the morning, synchronizes his device with the studio, and as they're out there in the field, they have the correct data for that date. And they're always working on the most recent data. They come back in that evening, they synchronize their devices the next day. If there's been any changes, they immediately have those new documents. So it gives them the confidence to know that they're working on the correct documents.
Gotcha. Very cool. So to use Bluebeam, does it matter what operating system or hardware a firm is using?
Most firms are using Microsoft Windows. There are actually two different versions of Review. So there is a Windows version as well as a Mac version. So if you're running Mac, there is the ability to use Mac. However, the Mac version doesn't have nearly the capabilities of the Windows version do. So I see a lot of people that have Macs, they actually run a Windows operating system in parallel on their system where they'll run Bluebeam. There's also an iPad app. So if you have an iPad, you can get the app. Again, it's limited functionality, but for most people out in the field, it works great.
Gotcha. Very cool. How much work goes into implementing Bluebeam, and what kind of training opportunities are available to someone who's looking to get up to speed quickly?
How much work it takes really depends upon the organization. So if you want to do a full implementation of Bluebeam and use everything there is, obviously it's going to be more involved than somebody that just needs to look at PDFs and maybe mark up some things. And we can help people figure out what needs to be done for their organization. It's such a broad range of things. It's a difficult question to answer this simply, but that is one thing that we do quite often is we go and help people figure out what it is they need and then help them achieve that.
Gotcha. Very cool. So last question, and it's a couple parts to it. What are your top 3 tips for someone who's already using Bluebeam, but maybe looking to use more of the functionality to increase their productivity?
Most of my tips revolve around Bluebeam Extreme, which is there's 3 different versions of Extreme or of Review, and so Extreme has all the functionality in it. Extreme has optical character recognition. If you scan a PDF, you can take that scanned text and actually make it into searchable text using optical character recognition. The batch hyperlinking is fantastic for a set of drawings. It makes it so much easier to navigate between the drawings. You simply click on a sheet's number anywhere in the set of plans and it will link you directly to that sheet. And then finally, I like the slip sheeting functionality. So if you get a new version of sheet, you can simply slip sheet that into your drawing set and you'll be replacing the old sheet with the new sheet. And if there's any markups on that sheet, those will be copied over to the new sheet as well.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for those tips and for joining us on our show today. We really appreciate all the information you've brought.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you everybody out there watching the video. If you are interested in learning more about our products or services, you can visit asti.com. We're also holding a Bluebeam Tips webinar this Friday. We'll put that registration link in the comments section of this video so you can go on that link and register for that webinar. So until next time, I'm Todd Weyandt. Thank you for joining us on Bridging the Gap with Applied Software. Have a great day, everybody.